Police officer in the world is in trouble with the law. China announced Monday that it's arrested the head of Interpol for taking bribes and other crimes. This, as Interpol says, it's now received his resignation. It's the latest high-profile arrest in China's wide-ranging corruption crackdown. CNN's Sam Kiley has the latest.
The last communication to a wife. Wait for my call. Then 4 minutes later, the image of a knife. Her husband had been president of Interpol. Now Grace Mung says she fears for her life and will not show her face. She's had death threats since her husband disappeared in China. She appealed to help from the Chinese people, but not the government. As head of the organization that links police forces around the world, not even Meng Hongwei, who was also a vice minister of public security in China, was above suspicion in China's crackdown against allegedly corrupt officials. He vanished in China at the end of September. 2 weeks later, his detention confirmed.
Since
Meng Hongwei has allegedly taken bribes and violated laws, he has handed over his resignation as Interpol president.
The move by authorities had been kept a secret. Earlier reporting by CNN on his disappearance was blacked out in China. Interpol accepting the resignation of its president with a meek tweet and replaced him without apparent protest. This is a nation that has executed government officials convicted of corruption and jailed many senior figures.
Well, it certainly sends the message that no person, whatever their position, I mean, this was a leading member of the Communist Party, is immune from the campaign against corruption.
His detention comes soon after China's most famous actress and Hollywood star, Fan Bingbing, also vanished for several months. She's been asked to settle a $130 million debt she's told that she allegedly owes in back taxes. For now, Meng faces detention and possible torture. If he's convicted on corruption charges, the odds are that China will want to make an example of a man who was once the world's top cop. Sam Kiley, CNN, Hong Kong.
Interpol's headquarters are in Lyon, France, and that's where our Melissa Bell is right now. Melissa, we've now heard from the Chinese authorities and Interpol. You're there at the headquarters. What has the response been from people that he worked with and knows about the credibility of these allegations and what's happening to him?
Well, of course, as you've been reporting, Bianca, we now know that it is on corruption charges that he's being held. That is what the Chinese government is accusing him of. Here in Lyon, we've been speaking to his wife, who you'll remember raised the alarm about his disappearance at the end of last week. After she'd received that text message, she'd waited several days to see whether that call would come, and that had gone to French police authorities. And that was when the mystery had been made public. Since then, we've discovered that they are accusing him of corruption. She is accusing them of political persecution. That's what she's told CNN exclusively for the time being. As for Interpol, Bianca, they're remaining remarkably tight-lipped. We've seen two statements over the course of the weekend. The first one, after his disappearance had emerged, about the fact that they were pressing Chinese authorities for further information and that they were concerned about his whereabouts and his welfare. And then that second one yesterday, explaining that they had received word of his resignation and so would be appointing an interim head. And it is next month only that Interpol will be meeting in Dubai to choose the next head of this world policing agency. So still a great deal of mystery, lots of questions, not a great deal of information coming out here in Lyon, but many questions really for Chinese authorities. When we will know more about the charges he's facing, when we're likely to hear from him again, and to get an idea of his precise whereabouts and his safety. And that is something his wife is extremely keen to get to the bottom of. Bianca.